Hello everyone, welcome to your weekly tech update. I'm your tech fanboy Ray McNeil. This is where we showcase the newest, coolest, and most exciting side of tech available on the interwebs. Coming up on the program today, Nike's self-lacing sneakers are turning into bricks after a faulty firmware update. A Japanese spacecraft has successfully touched down on an asteroid. And happening in this week's What The? A burglar drops a 400-pound safe in a parking lot while trying to flee the scene of a robbery. That and a whole lot more coming up on today's edition of your weekly tech update. Next. Hi everyone. Nike users are experiencing some technical difficulties in the wild world of connected footwear. Nike's $350 Adapt BB sneakers are the latest in the company's line of self-lacing shoes, and they come with the Nike Adapt app for Android and iOS. Now the problem, the app pairs with the shoes and lets you adjust the tightness of the laces, customize the lights, yes, there's lights, and see how much battery life is left in the shoes. But the Nike Android app doesn't work. Android users all over the world report that their new kicks aren't pairing with the app properly, and some customers report failed firmware updates for the shoes, which render them unable to pair with the app at all. Nike's app on Google Play has been flooded with one-star reviews recently to respond to the faulty update. Now, calling a smart shoe that can't use its smarts features a brick, well, might seem a little extreme, but keep in mind, with no manual laces, you need to trigger the self-lacing feature to tighten the shoes around your feet. If the firmware update fails and you can't lace up your shoes anymore, well, they're kind of useless, aren't they? Pretty much like a brick. In response to the reports on Google Play, Nike said, "We are aware of the issue and are actively working on a solution." I've been looking forward to this one for a long time. Samsung first teased its foldable phone back in November. They've actually been talking about it for years, and the company's Galaxy Unpacked event just recently happened, and they gave us further details of their foldable plans, including the name of their new phone. It's going to be called the Samsung Galaxy Fold. And the company is revealing more about what's inside this smartphone and what exactly it can do. It's planning to launch on April 26th, starting at $1,980 through AT&T and T-Mobile in the US, with a free pair of Samsung's new wireless earbuds thrown in. There will be both an LTE and a 5G version of the Galaxy Fold, and Samsung is even planning on launching the device in Europe on May 3rd, starting at about 2,000 euros. Samsung is using a new 7.3-inch Infinity Flex display that allows the phone itself to have a tablet-sized screen that can be folded to fit into your pocket. How cool! The main display is a QXGA Plus resolution, and when it's folded to a smaller 4.6-inch screen, it's got an HD Plus resolution. This thing is a beast. Samsung is using 512 gigabytes of universal flash storage 3.0 for faster speeds. This comes alongside a Qualcomm 7nm octa-core processor and 12 gigs of RAM. Samsung has even built two batteries for its Galaxy Fold that are separated by the fold, but combined in the Android operating system to represent a total 4,380 milliamp hours of battery power. Samsung has built a sturdy backbone to the device with a hinge system that has multiple interlocking gears. All of these gears are hidden under the rear of the device, so you're never actually going to see them. It looks pretty sleek, and it allows the Galaxy Fold to transform from tablet to phone modes. Samsung says it's able to fold at least 200,000 times, which, if you work it out, is about 5 years if you fold it 100 times a day. At the rear of the device is a triple camera system for some reason. It's going to be used for both tablet and phone modes. There's a 16 megapixel ultra-wide camera alongside a 12 megapixel wide angle and a telephoto camera at the rear, and a 10 megapixel cover camera for selfies in the front. Samsung is also creating 4 different colors for the Galaxy Fold, but it's the main tablet display that's key here. Samsung is allowing the Galaxy Fold to run 3 apps at once on this Android device, and it's using an app continuity system to adjust those apps when you move between tablet and phone modes. This thing is awesome. Apps like WhatsApp, Microsoft Office, and YouTube have all been optimized for this new display and modes, and Samsung has been working with Google to ensure Android 9 fully supports this display. Samsung isn't the only smartphone maker creating a foldable device, but it's certainly one of the first to make it widely available. Xiaomi teased its own foldable phone recently. That looked like, well, the best concept that we've seen so far. Huawei is also reportedly planning to release a foldable handset sometime this year, and Lenovo has started to tease its own prototype. LG has also been developing flexible OLED displays and TVs that roll up into a box. If all these manufacturers progress towards shipping a device like Samsung, then expect to see a lot of foldable phones in 2019 and well beyond. Litho is reportedly ready to show the world what it's been building, an innovative finger-worn device that provides control over various spatial interactions and should find applications ranging from augmented reality to virtual reality to the smart home and the control of other Internet of Things devices. The next stage for Litho is to offer the controller and access to its SDK to developers who join the startup beta program for $199. Computing is increasingly structured around the real world rather than the desktop, says Litho's Nat Martin. With the advent of smart devices such as lights, thermostats, and door locks, physical things are becoming digitally connected. Equally, the advent of AR, digital things are becoming physically anchored in the real world. These are two sides of the same coin. Digital interactions are entering physical space. However, the status quo is for the smartphone to be the primary interface for these spatial interactions. But smartphones were designed to interact with 2D content on screens and are therefore struggling to make the leap. To solve this problem requires a combination of hardware and software. While the Litho device itself is described as an unobtrusive finger-worn controller that connects via Bluetooth Low Energy to a smartphone or AR headset, the controller has a capacitive touch surface on the underside, which allows for precise 2D input, scrolling, and tapping. But more specifically, it also has an array of motion sensors and provides haptic feedback. The Litho SDK uses the popular 3D game development platform Unity, and Martin says developers will be able to make apps that can not only identify the direction or vector in which the wearer is pointing, but what they are pointing at in the real world. Litho has already picked up a number of notable investors. The startup has raised an undisclosed amount of seed funding from U.S. venture firm Greycroft, Paul Heaton, an early investor in Unity and Supercell, and Chris Albinson, who co-led investments in DocuSign, Pinterest, and Turo, along with several other unnamed angel investors.